All right. Well, I had no audio, but I kicked it off by saying, it's LOG here's where there's smoke. Uh, y'all know what the fuck the deal is. But tonight I just wanted to get into the Eclipse stuff. I was saying earlier that that's like the biggest event that's kind of like taking over the nation right now, especially like it's a big deal here in Central Texas. Um, and just kind of, I had like I felt like my intro was so good, and then I like realized I didn't have any volume, and now I'm fucking it up. But what I was saying is it's such a big deal that even our company got off, which is like I didn't think we would, but my boss just didn't want to deal with like all the traffic and the hoopla and like the panic of everyone that's gonna be here in Central Texas for the eclipse. And I was kind of going into, um, we've had a lot of eclipses over the past like 5, 10 years. I know there was a big one in 2017, and everyone's wondering if they happen this frequently, are they really so rare? What makes each one special? I think this one's called like a total eclipse. I'm not sure what the last one was, or like the differences, but we're gonna get into a few news video, like news videos, and kind of break down what they say and kind of just give our commentary and see what we think. And yeah, just give our commentary on like what makes this different from other eclipses, what significance it has, is it overhyped, underhyped, what do we think about it? Just kind of give our thoughts on it and just kind of take it slow. um as I was saying earlier too, before the audio came on, I've been trying new things with streaming. I've been doing like 2 or 3 topics on streams. I'm gonna try this time to do maybe a little shorter one, just one topic. Uh, just see how that kind of goes. I'm just trying to play around with live streams and see what really works. So, we're gonna open up the. Oh, I'm gonna double check my audio like I was gonna do, and then we'll get into it. So. So been like 2 or 3 topics on streams. I'm gonna try this time to do maybe a little shorter one, just one topic. Uh, just see how that kind of goes. I'm just trying to play around with live streams and see what really works. So, we're gonna open up the. Oh, I'm gonna double check my audio like I was gonna do, and then we'll get into it. All right, everything seems to be good. I'm gonna try that little thing I was telling you about. I guess I don't really care, but try to get the mic volume up real quick. Uh, we'll see how that is. Okay. Let's go ahead and all right. Let's jump into this.
This eclipse is expected to draw in thousands to the festival, and those in attendance are just so excited to be a part of it.
The total eclipse is an incredible phenomenon. If you are in the area, I highly encourage you to take the time off and see it.
In just a day, it's like the city of Burnett completely transformed. License plates from nearly every state could be seen stuck in the traffic, only brought on by the anticipation of a total solar eclipse. CBS Austin caught up with Nick Sloman, who flew in from Tokyo, Japan, just to be in the path of totality.
So I came in yesterday from Tokyo. It was about a 20-hour trip to get here. I always try to come early to these festivals because if you do come, last minute, yeah, they can be backed up. Last eclipse for me was in Oregon in 2017, and I heard for some of the people who came later, there was like a 16-hour traffic jam. So
lines of cars could be spotted outside of the festival and throughout the grounds. It runs through April 9th and is expected to draw upwards of 50,000 people to the.
I didn't know we were having damn festivals over this thing.
area. As we made our way from Austin to Burnett, we saw dozens of electronic signs letting people know the total solar eclipse is inching closer, warning folks to expect traffic delays and to not park on the roads.
See, there, I don't know, my audio's cutting in and out of my left and right headphones, so I don't know if it's gonna be doing that for y'all as well. I don't know if it's this video or the headphones. If it's doing it on the next video, I'll double check and get things right. But yeah, it's almost like this has become more than just like, I feel like back in the day when I was growing up, maybe I was wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but like, the mid 2000s before the internet really hit and blew up and was, it was blowing up, but it wasn't like what it is today, where like this thing becomes like a cultural phenomenon. I feel like back in the day, everyone just viewed the thing where they were from at home more or less, and like people weren't flying here and there and making all these crazy plans and making like a vacation out of it, as you're gonna see on some of these like videos and news people, these news videos, and they're interviewing people. This has become like a freaking big event for people to come. So it's crazy to see what it's like, what this is versus what I feel like it was when I was a kid and things like this. And I don't know, it's just crazy that having like events for it. They're like, what is this? A festival? I don't know what all that includes, but I've even seen like DPS uh in Texas, give out warnings about traffic delays and saying like don't park on the side of the road. I think they just mentioned potentially, but like all these things are like, this is like a big deal, almost like South by Southwest or ACL or anything else like that. It's crazy how big this has gotten. And it's almost like it's out of control is what I'm saying. Like for my company to get off work, that's like crazy. But my boss just doesn't want us to deal with the traffic and all the craze over it. So I get it, but it's like crazy that's the level this is at.
Compared to the last one, the last festival, it was like 8-hour wait in line to get in.
Yeah, it was about 10-mile backup.
Yeah,
So
this is a piece of cake. Yeah.
Bonnie McMillan and her husband Josh Palmer actually met at an Eclipse festival and are hoping to make this celestial event even more spectacular than the first.
We went to the original Solar Eclipse Festival that happened in Prineville like 7 years ago, and that's
I think it's this audio on this video I'm watching.
where we met.
And this is
Oh, how romantic, these two fools.
our honeymoon.
This is our honeymoon. Like last time, it was a
Let's get
field
that
of
one
like
more time.
10,000 people. Eclipse Festival that happened.
Met at an Eclipse festival and are hoping to make this celestial event even more spectacular than the first.
We went to the original Solar Eclipse Festival that happened in Prineville like 7 years ago, and that's where we met.
And this is our honeymoon.
This is our honeymoon.
Match made in heaven.
Like last time, it was a field of like 10,000 people, and when totality hit, everyone was silent. And it
All
was
the
just,
birds shut up.
Yeah,
all
it was just this
quiet.
beautiful, peaceful moment.
All the birds shut up.
That again.
Yeah.
Another thing you definitely want to prepare for is the weather. It was already pretty warm out Friday and is only expected to get warmer over the weekend. And if you have face coverings, hats, or sunglasses, don't forget to pack those because the grounds are all dirt. And when that wind picks up, it makes it really difficult to see much of anything. In Burnett, Monique Lopez, CBS Austin News.
All right, so that's that video.
Millions of people across North America will witness at least a partial solar eclipse on Monday. Spectators who live within the path of totality, we all love saying that word, don't you?
Yeah, I love it, the path of totality.
Totality.
Yeah.
And tourists flocking to those areas will be lucky enough to witness the moon fully block the sun, experiencing the dark.
Now this is a cool, I thought, little map that they have up. Let me make sure I'm not blocking it. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, I'm not. Okay. I thought this was a cool map. We're gonna have several different videos that have like maps and that show the globe. Excuse me. But yeah, we're hold on. We're gonna have several videos that show maps and what am I trying to say? Like I don't know, the word's escaping me right now. But anyway, just like a model, I guess a model of the globe and the sun and the moon all like, and they're going to show us how the eclipse is going to look and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was really cool for us to just kind of get like that visualization in our mind before it actually happens. Just kind of add to the ambiance of the whole thing, and just kind of add to the neatness of it, I think. So anyway, here's a path of totality, and we're gonna kind of see if they can explain that very well. Y'all get in the comments, let me know what y'all think and everything, and y'all's experience and kind of what y'all's thoughts on it. If y'all have anything, care, don't care, interesting tidbits you've heard or whatnot. So,
of a total solar eclipse. So for more on this, Janet Shamlian is joining us from Fredericksburg, Texas, which is on the path of totality. Janet.
Can I just point something out?
Yes.
She is in front of the most Texas of Texas store.
And Fredericksburg is a pretty well-known, very well-known town in the hill country here in Texas, and it's probably about an hour, roughly, away from Austin. Let me double check before I look foolish, but I think that's fairly accurate. It's an hour and a half from where I am in San Marcos. It's about the same. It's about an hour and a half from Austin, pretty much directly west.
I know.
It's got like a big cowboy hat,
A Stetson,
cowboy boots,
big Stetson.
Like
Look at
you
the
can't
boots.
get more Texas
Yeah, I mean,
than
look
that.
at the boots. It's just so
Love it.
Texas. So yeah, Janet, you're traveling across places that are in the path of totality. So what are small communities like Fredericksburg doing to prepare for what I'm sure is going to be an enormous influx of tourists?
Hey guys, good morning to you. They are preparing because, whoops, got a little bit of issue with audio issue here.
All right.
They want the tourists here in this town.
Dang, that shit happens to the pros too. Who knew?
Stores like this are hoping to welcome people, right? They want people to come in and spend money in Fredericksburg, which has a little more than 10,000 people living here. But to accommodate them, they are setting up green spaces and public parks that people can come. They've
What the hell is a green space?
loaded the city down with porta potties.
That sounds lovely.
People living here, but to accommodate them, they are setting up green spaces and public parks that people can come. They've loaded the city down with porta potties, and they have
I'm sold.
trucks coming in. In the case of Kerrville, Texas, they've loaded the city down with porta potties, and they have food trucks coming in. In the case of Kerrville, Texas, they have one-way traffic going in at peak times and one-way traffic leaving the town at peak times. And
Boy, doesn't that sound like a nightmare.
that's more akin to what cities here in Texas do in hurricane-type situations. Guys?
Fun.
So do we have an idea, though, of what sort of economic boost we're talking about for these small communities?
Let me tell you about Kerrville, okay? A town of 25,000. They're expecting up to 100,000 people in that community.
Whoa.
$2.5 million direct impact. That's restaurants, that's paid parking, that's hotels. A Hampton Inn was going for $900 a night. So,
Whoa.
yeah, it's significant.
Oh, my gosh.
Wow. All right, so what are the top tips for people planning to view the eclipse on or outside even the path of totality on Monday?
Yeah, so we're driving here from San Antonio this morning, which is where we're staying. The big signs on the highway said, arrive early, stay put, leave late. That's probably the best advice for everyone because the traffic's going to be so crazy. I also suggest that you get a pair of these. Make sure you can get yours
Woo! Woo! Glasses.
personalized.
Where do I get
Where do
those?
we get those? Those are collector's items.
Oh, wait a minute.
The zoo animals behind the cage like that. Woo! Woo! We want a banana. Woo!
Wait a minute. What am I seeing here? It is
A fellow dumbass, probably.
Stephanie Abrams from our partners at the Weather Channel.
Stephanie Abrams.
Woo! Stephanie Abrams. Woo!
Excited to see you. Happy Eclipse weekend. Tell me we're going to have clear
It doesn't take much for these faggots, does it?
skies.
Listen, there might be clouds. clouds, but I will tell you this. In 99, I saw an eclipse, and I kid you not, it was cloudy like dark clouds. It parted for totality. You can't make this up. And then the clouds went back right after totality, so there's hope.
I mean, we're hearing it from the Queen, so hopefully.
Well, wait, but hold on.
From your mouth to
the universe, right?
Right?
So, Janet, one of the things, and Stephanie, I don't know if you can hear me, but, it's interesting to me that everybody's flocking to, like, Texas, and I'm like, I'm going to be happy right here in New York State because I know we're not completely on the path of totality, but it's expected that we're going to have clear and beautiful skies here in New York, right?
Okay, basically, she can't hear you, but they're giving us a hard time because they're all in the Northeast, and they say they're going to have clear skies.
They are going to have clear skies, and in fact, a little weather for you, that high pressure giving them clear skies is actually what's messing us up because around that high pressure, it's bringing moisture up from the Gulf into here.
You heard it.
You heard it. Yeah.
It is Vlad's fault. It is Vlad's fault.
They know that I'm like the wah-wah.
Yeah,
I'm the
right.
wah-wah guy.
You may be there, but we have clear skies. Yeah, right. So what about
Wow, I have nothing.
travel? You mentioned that you've been sort of driving through. Talk to us about how travel's looking across the country for this
Steph.
event.
Sure.
Thank you.
Bye,
that was a
Steph.
special guest. That was so nice.
Yeah, so travel is crazy, right? If you want to get a ticket now to San Antonio, even with the projected clouds, it's going to be very expensive. And let me tell you, the bigger headache is rental cars. As my entire team can attest, like, if you don't have a reservation, forget about it. It ain't happening. So
Forget about it.
it's great for these companies, but if you don't have your plans, then you're kind of done. As Vlad said, stay where you are.
Hey, Janet, is Subaru?
There again is the map right there of all the states. They showed some major towns earlier, and maybe a video we're gonna look at later will show some more. But there it is again for y'all. It's kind of interesting.
Your producer?
He is.
I have a.
He is here, and Dwayne.
There he is.
Whoa, this is funny. The fucking newscaster thinks he's gonna put some heat on his boss and fucking put the producer on camera. Let's get some answers out of him. Woo! Watch it's like.
Hey, Janet, is Subaru your producer?
He is. He is here, and Dwayne.
There he is.
Whoa.
Where are our glasses? Where are those glasses?
I want a pair of those.
They will be sent.
All right.
He is hurt. Look at him.
I want yours to have your picture on them.
That's great. Thanks, Janet. We just took a stroll through this lovely town. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet.
And don't forget on Monday, tune in for our total eclipse place.
We were did you see Inside Edition?
No.
So Inside Edition had an incredible report yesterday that we were going to do on What to Watch on CBS Mornings of a guy who was selling a week away from a total.
Attention speakers.
Nope.
Eclipse more than.
Oh, there it is. It's gonna go through Eagle Pass, Dallas, Little Rock, Poplar Bluff, Carbondale, Bloomington, Cleveland, Rochester, Burlington, and Milwaukee. Sorry if I mispronounced any of those.
31 million Americans in several states live in the so-called path of totality, but watching the eclipse could threaten your eyesight if you're not taking proper precautions. So joining us now is...
There's a couple of points of contention I have with this whole eclipse thing. One is I kind of want to break down, before we're done here, the way that it travels and see if that really makes sense on the globe model. The other thing is they hammer home. I mean, they, to the infinity, wear glasses. Don't look at the sun. Don't look at it. It's like, what happens if you're on the way home in rush hour and the sun is setting and it's right in your fucking eyes and you have to look at it for a few seconds or even a few minutes, and then pretty much what you will do is you'll look away when you can, but then if traffic starts going again, you're gonna look where you have to look to make sure you're safe and shit, and then when you can, you'll look away. But people act like there are circumstances where you have to look at the sun for a little bit, like I just named. When you're in rush hour traffic, you're facing the sun, you have to look. What do you do in that scenario? You hope you have some sunglasses, but it's like people have looked at the sun you get that little spot in the middle of your eyes when you blink, and then after 30 seconds or a minute, it goes away. So I feel like everyone's been in that situation I've talked about and had that happen, and they act like, oh, if you look at the sun for any amount of time ever, you're just fucked in the ass royally. It's like, I don't think that's entirely true. And, I'm no scientist, so I don't know shit. This is just me, throwing my 2 cents in the fucking toilet. But if you can look at the sun for 30 seconds or even a minute during those circumstances, and after you blink and after a while, the little spot on your eyes goes away, now an object is going to be between the sun and us. So wouldn't the sunlight be less damaging, if anything, and we'd be able to look at it for longer, if anything? But they're just like, don't look at it at all. Ah! It's just like all this fear porn, just like all the time. Anyway, well, I might touch on that again as it comes up, but that's just kind of my thoughts on the whole glasses and looking at a thing.
Is Mike Massimino, rather. Sorry, Mike, and known you for
go.
years. But you are a former NASA site if you're not taking proper precautions. So joining us now is Mike Massimino.
Look at this. I didn't see this the first time I watched this video. I think this is the only. There might be one or two videos that we're reacting to that I watched beforehand, but most of them I don't think I have. I'm kind of playing around with if I should watch videos before I go live with y'all or not, and kind of what's the better experience for y'all. But it's an interesting. These two pictures he has behind him on his over his left shoulder. Wait. Yeah. No. Why am I that stupid? His right shoulder. I am stupid. Anyway, left for us, right, his right shoulder. This one, this top one is interesting. So, yeah, those are interesting circle things he has behind him.
Sorry, Mike, and known you for years. But you are a former NASA astronaut and a professor of mechanical engineering at Columbia University. It's good to see you, my friend.
Likewise, Vlad. How are you doing? Hi, Chanel.
Hi, good morning.
All right, so it's kind of remarkable that we have you on here, Mike, to ask you how you can witness this moment safely. But there are some people
That may not know.
Including a former
Or don't care what you retards up here have to say.
President of the United States who, during the last solar eclipse back in 2017, was photographed looking up into the sky without any eyewear.
Yeah.
So, to avoid doing something like that, what should people be doing to watch or look at an eclipse safely?
Yeah, Vlad, well, it's not a good idea to look directly at the sun at any time. It can be harmful to your eyes, but particularly during an eclipse, you have to be careful. And so there are things you can do to enjoy the eclipse. One thing you can do is you can get a pair of these approved glasses, right? These eclipse glasses, but you got to be careful because there are some counterfeit ones out there. So make sure you get them from a reliable source. More information on getting these can be found on two websites. One is preventblindness.org, and another one is for the American Astronomical Society, AAS.org. You can look there to find out about these types of glasses, but also other things that you can do. You can build a pinhole camera. That's what we had when I was a kid. They told us to do that. There's a cheap, easy way to do it. You can do it out of cardboard, so that's another way to do it. But be really careful. Things like binoculars or even cameras, those can be harmful as well. Looking through the lens, you need proper filters. So you really want to take precautions because you can damage your eyes permanently by looking directly at the eclipse.
How quickly could that happen?
It can happen pretty quick. Well, actually, you might not have symptoms until a few days later because the damage sometimes will surface a couple days later and can be permanent. So, but it can have, as far as looking at the sun, how long it'll take, just a few seconds will do it. So be really careful looking at the eclipse, particularly when it's not. The only time it's safe to look up there, and you got to be really careful then too, is when it's in the total eclipse and the sun is completely covered. But as soon as the moon moves a little bit, and you start seeing the corona, the ring of fire around the moon during the eclipse, that's where it can be harmful again. So be really careful. It's a great event. You want to enjoy it, but you want to enjoy it safely.
Those are some good pictures. I just want to.
With the ring of fire around the moon during the eclipse, that's where it can be harmful again. So be really careful. It's a great event. You want.
That's a sick picture right there.
want to enjoy it, but you want to enjoy it safely.
It's just so interesting to me, Mike. When I was a kid, too, in the 70s, that's how we did those.
Damn, you old ass.
Those pinhole cameras. I have very fond memories of being in grade school, and this was for lunar eclipses because there have been more of those, I think, than total solar eclipses. But we sat there, and I think we made them out of an oatmeal container, right? And that's how I first learned that you should never ever look at an eclipse, whether lunar or solar, without using something like a pinhole camera or special eyewear. So that's why I'm like, what are people doing looking at the eclipse without that kind of eyewear? Are there people who actually use telescopes to look at an eclipse?
You can, but you got to know what you're doing. If you're a professional observer and you have the right filters to protect your eyes, you can do that. But for most of us, we don't have that kind of equipment. And so, again, if you can get an approved set of glasses like this or use a pinhole camera, you can enjoy it safely. But for the professionals that have the right equipment, whether it's for their
Bye. We're serious about bacon, so we made our bacon the best.
Sky, and we do choose the word zoom specifically because despite the whole event lasting about an hour and a half, the sky will only be dark for roughly 3 to 4 minutes in most places because of the eclipse's tremendous speed. First, let's go through some quick science. Here's what happens with a solar eclipse. The moon moves between the sun and the earth, and that creates a shadow that blocks the sun from our view. The shadow is comprised of two different cones called the umbra, which is in the center, and the penumbra, which is on the outer part. Those who are in totality, who see the sky go completely dark, they are in the umbra. That's going to span about 115 miles wide. And the significantly larger penumbra creates a partial eclipse, which is going to be visible to most parts of the United States, actually. Now, the umbra moves at more than 1,500 miles an hour. And here's an interesting scientific fact. Depending on how far your location is from the moon, it can travel faster.
Now, hold on. Does this make sense? Why would let's go back and get the official name. Why would the outer shadow be that damn wide? If the sun and the moon are so far from each other, you would think there wouldn't be two shadows at all. You would think there'd just be one super thin shadow, and that just doesn't add up to me. And also the direction we can get into later, the direction that it moves is also, I'm interested to know what moving the, I don't think it's the sun, I don't think it's the moon, I think it's the earth spinning is what causes the shadow to actually move across the United States. So does it make sense which way it travels and how fast? I'm almost too dumb to figure out the fast part, but the direction part, maybe we can just use our common sense and try to figure it out here in a minute.
Larger penumbra creates a partial eclipse. They are in the umbra. That's going to span about 115 miles wide. And the significantly larger penumbra creates a partial eclipse, which is going to be visible to most parts of the United States, actually. Now, the umbra moves at more than 1,500 miles an hour. And here's an interesting scientific fact. Depending on how far your location is from the moon, it can travel faster. For example, eclipse trackers estimate that it's going to move at roughly 1,700 miles per hour in Dallas. And when it comes to Indianapolis, it's almost 2,000 miles per hour. You want to understand how fast that is? We can help you out. The average bird, for example, travels between 20 to 30 miles per hour. But let's compare it to planes. A typical commercial flight at cruising altitude moves at roughly 575 miles per hour. The fastest commercial flight ever, the Concorde, still, that's slower than this eclipse is moving. That supersonic commercial aircraft, which still holds the record for the fastest transatlantic commercial flight, is only 1,350 miles per hour. Now, there is one thing that is faster than the eclipse. That's fighter jets. NASA's experimental X-43A unmanned jet actually can reach speeds of nearly 7,000 miles per hour. At least it's done so during testing. And the total solar eclipse is expected to begin Monday afternoon. I'm going to be out there in the path of totality. The whole team is going to be bringing you live coverage on our special total.
I'm done with this video.
Along the route that the moon's shadow will take as it goes across the country. Millions more pouring into towns and cities.
Makes it extraordinary is it's just going to rip across a huge population center, which is to say North America, from Mexico through the continental United States, exiting Newfoundland, probably 30 to 40 million people just living under the so-called path of totality. So it's going to be a big event.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And it's also a chance for scientists to learn more about our universe. NASA's going to launch rockets into the path of the eclipse. What makes this a unique research opportunity, and what do you think they're hoping to learn?
Well, we want to know about the sun's corona. Looking at the sun with most instruments, there are some instruments which create artificial eclipses. But most instruments are unable to view the corona, which is like 1 million times fainter than the sun itself. When the moon is eclipsing the sun, you see that outer edge, that crown, the corona. Understanding its properties, what's in it, the chemical composition, that sort of thing just tells us more and more about the most important star we know of, which is to say our sun. So NASA will fly some high-altitude aircraft to gather that kind of spectroscopy.
I'm sure they'll be doing experiments and doing what they can, but I don't think it's quite what this guy's saying.
Eclipse glasses, these mylar glasses.
Well, they're gonna hammer home in every fucking video and thing that you need these goddamn glasses.
Which block out enough of the sun.
Eclipse is almost here, but unfortunately for some of totality, weather going to play a significant factor in blocking this thing. What's going on, guys? Certified meteorologist Jonathan Kagas back with you. I've been wish casting like crazy. It's not really working here, but we're going to get into the latest high-resolution cloud model forecast. Or able to show you that. Again, we have that event already made, so sign up for the watch party there. We are going to go live on this channel 1 o'clock Eastern, noon Central, leading up to the eclipse, and then of course bringing you the eclipse as it rolls across the United States and Canada. Here we go. Path of totality here. Again, across the entire country we have it. But in totality, from the Mexico border through Texas, again, into Pennsylvania, into Maine, that is a rough estimate there. But you see right there in Minnesota where we're going to have a partial eclipse into the Dakotas, eastern Montana, Wyoming. We are going to have clouds around the western side of Washington, northwest Oregon, also cloudy. Looking pretty good in the desert southwest and into California. Looking also good in parts of coastal Carolinas.
Going to be cloudy here in central Texas, but not as bad as up here in the north.
Some higher clouds streaming through Florida at the time, and then into Michigan, northern Illinois, Iowa, northern Missouri. We're looking here to kind of show you where we're going to have some issues. The red means we're going to have poor visibility. The yellow means fair, and then the green means we're looking really, really good. And where the best weather continues to look, and we told you this about 2 weeks ago now, was going to be in Vermont, in New Hampshire, into Maine. And then
shit, honestly, South Illinois, Kentucky,
also
the
southern
Arkansas,
half of Missouri into southern Illinois. Arkansas, we're looking okay. We talked about that as well. Where we have the big
Texas looks kind of red, which means low visibility.
Big time issues though still. Beet red in parts of southern Texas. Big visibility issues from Buffalo into Erie to just east of Cleveland. That will likely include Watertown, New York, where the visibility is going to be poor as well. And then Dicey in southeast Oklahoma, you do see some red popping up, hiding behind the black. It's just going to be very, very tough in Texas and Oklahoma, unfortunately, to see.
Well, they're doing their ad. Shout out to Swisher Sweet. Oh, shit. Shout out to Swisher Sweet, always keeping me right. Didn't mean to bump the mic there. That probably sounded terrible.
Lips again, we'd have to really thread the needle. I'm not saying it's impossible in North Texas and Southern Oklahoma, but we really have to thread the needle here as we move over through totality over those couple of hours here. All right, so we're starting things off in Texas again, and this is that 3D view continuing as we work our way forward and see as we work our way from north to east. Let me take this screen full and show you as we move through San Antonio into Uvalde, we are looking cloudy. And we are going to see if we can work this, if we can break some clouds free as we work into Austin, into Johnson City, into Tyler, Texas. Still, though, it looks rough. Moving into Waco, again, I keep on talking about Waco being one of the best places, at least right smack dab in the middle of the path of totality, but nonetheless, clouds look to be there. Now, where you do see the orange on this map, this is where we could have some clear skies starting to break through a little bit. The more orange you see, the better the weather is going to be. So at least we get a little bit of hope here. And again, I'm just calling it a little bit of hope. Into Cunningham, Mount Pleasant, Texas, closer to the Red River. Again, this is a high-resolution forecast. Still, though, modeling isn't perfect here. So as you move into the southeast corner of Oklahoma, you see the white really come back. And then we have some issues there. Now, getting into Arkansas, things look a little bit better. See these wispy clouds here, this white and gray. Those are some of those higher thin filtered clouds, those cirrus clouds. Nonetheless, for totality, we need to get those out of the way. Conway into Little Rock, we're looking okay. Same for us into Hot Springs. Into Jonesboro, we have things looking a little dicey. We had the yellow pop up on that color map, meaning that we have okay visibility, that we're going to be in and out of some of those clouds. Same for us into Poplar Bluff, Paducah, Kentucky. We're looking okay right now as of Sunday, April 7th, our final forecast here. Into Evansville, Bloomington, into Indianapolis, that white showing back up again. On the northern side of totality here, so north of Indianapolis, closer to Terre Haute, north of Muncie, that's where it looks better. So the further north, if you're hanging around Indy or Bloomington, Columbus, Indiana, Greensburg, Indiana, the north side of the path is going to be your best bet weather-wise. I know that limits the time of totality, but if you want to see totality at all, you want to start to think about shifting your plans on the northern side of totality. Closer to Toledo, Ohio, into Findlay, the clouds start to come back a little bit. We've been in and out of model guidance here, suggesting that we either have clear skies or cloudy skies. Nonetheless, Lake Erie, it's a game time decision here. Now, where there's more confidence, unfortunately, that there's going to be extra clouds is going to be east of Cleveland. You still see some orange there. We're going to be in and out of those clouds. But where we have the thick stuff back, it's on the eastern side of Lake Erie for Erie.
All right, so there's that. And if you want to go more in depth with your area, let's see what he says up here.
Want to try to get up there and see, and that might be the case for a lot of general aviation pilots. So here we go. This is the simulated infrared satellite. When you see these bright colors pop up, the yellows, those are those higher cloud tops as a result of thunderstorm activity. What we're looking at here in the purple, these are those mid to high level clouds. This white wispy, right, here we go. And I know the ceilings, again, are an issue, and the ceilings might be a little bit low in parts of Texas as well. Waco into Dallas, into Snyder, into Sonora, into San Antonio, into southeast Oklahoma, Oklahoma City.
All right, so there's going to be clouds. Fuck off. I haven't watched this video at all, so we'll see.
A total solar eclipse arrives on Monday, and while most of us will be watching with our glasses from the ground, some people are taking
Don't look, you'll burn your eyes.
a more adventurous viewpoint from the sky. Our next guest is preparing to chase the solar eclipse from his plane. Navy veteran and pilot David Prescott joins us now. David, thanks so much for being with us.
So, David, all of us are going to be on the Earth watching this, and I have to tell you, there's something about an eclipse that I find a little anticlimactic.
Hold on, is that Will Kane? Let me move my camera back. Holy. He got washed up and spit out through the drain, didn't he? Ooh, I'm dropping frames here. Let me see if that helps. I do not want to be dropping frames. Ooh, now I dropped a shit. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if that's a consistent number. Oh, it's going down now. I'm going to monitor that and see if I can't get that down. Anyway, let me see. what that does. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Let me actually check that out real quick. Give me a second, people. We'll see. It went down a little bit. That's concerning if I'm dropping bitrate because that means the video is gonna be lagging for y'all. And I thought I had that problem. It's only happened once before, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Let's see. Alright, it doesn't seem to be affecting it too bad, even though it says I'm still dropping 19%. So I'm gonna push on and see what's good. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, let's see. I wonder if it's noticeable when my camera's like this. Let me do a little check real quick. Alright, yeah, we're just gonna push on. I don't think it's noticeable. That's so weird. Anyway, I'll try to look into that later when I'm not live. Let's get back into the video.
Because you can't really look at it. It's this thing that's happening, but you can't look at it. But you're going to be in the sky chasing this. Tell me, are you flying the entire trajectory of this from parts of Texas all the way up to Maine?
No, I don't have a plane that's that fast.
Okay.
So mine will be pretty short.
Well, what do you expect? I know you're going to have a unique vantage point from the sky, but I've never experienced one from the ground. I live in Dallas. I should have a decent vantage point depending on weather, as Rick has pointed out. What should we expect? I mean, the sky completely
Oh, but that's definitely Will Kane.
darken.
Absolutely, but the amazing vantage point that I hope to see is to also see, what's happening on the ground and to to see some of the changes across the ground that I can see from the air that you won't be able to see
I hope he takes footage. I would love to see video footage of what he sees from the sky.
from the ground.
And that change is really the shadow that's going to be cast on the ground. And do you think from the flight path that you're going to take, you're going to be able to see that and maybe even see the curvature of that shadow?
Absolutely.
So that's unique.
It's going to be amazing.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds interesting. The curvature of the shadow.
curvature of the moon, basically, you'll be able to watch that shadow passing along the ground, which is, I think, is spectacular. Is this the first time you've done this?
This is, well, yes, first time I've seen a total solar eclipse since 1979. So, you know, as a child in elementary school, the way we got to see that curvature you're talking about was by poking a little hole in a piece of paper and watching the image, pass. So I'll actually be able to get to see it from a higher vantage point.
So what Rick said, we're not supposed to look direct. I know that maybe that's obvious to some people. It wasn't to me. We're not supposed to look directly at the eclipse. That's why we've got these glasses here that we're going to be taking out on Monday.
Yes. So I'll actually have the same glasses, same style glasses with me to protect my eyes as well. And I'll use the aircraft's autopilot to fly safely, while I have those glasses on.
All right, so are you more excited about looking up and seeing the eclipse or looking down and seeing the shadow on the Earth?
When I look down,
I don't have a good answer for you because I've never done it before. Yeah. So I'll have to tell you after I come back.
dumbass.
And I think, David, our next opportunity is in another, 20, 30 years, something like that? 2044 maybe?
Well, in different parts of the United States, in New York where I live, I think it's 2079 is the next total solar eclipse expected in New York.
All right, well, so get after it. Go get your glasses. David, have a good time up in the air. The rest of us will be watching from the ground. We appreciate you being with us. By the way, check out special eclipse coverage.
The April 2024 eclipse. This is the Saros Inex panorama. Each square represents one of the 8,000 solar eclipses from the years 1208 BCE to 2161 CE.
Holy fuck.
No two eclipses are quite the same. For a total solar eclipse like the April 2024 eclipse to occur, 3 independent motions of the moon and Earth must coincide almost perfectly. First, and most obviously, the moon has to be in between the sun and the Earth. This happens on average every 29 days, 12 hours, 44 minutes, and 2.9 seconds. This period is known as a synodic month. Of course, we don't see eclipses every 29 days. This is because the orbit of the moon around the Earth is tilted relative to the orbit of the Earth around the sun. So even if the moon appears to be in between the sun and Earth in an overhead view, it's actually usually too high or too low, causing its shadow to completely miss the Earth. For an eclipse to occur, the moon has to be sufficiently close to the Earth's orbital plane. Twice per revolution, the moon passes through the Earth's orbital plane at points called nodes, allowing for the possibility of an eclipse. This is where things start to get crazy. For an eclipse to actually happen, the moon has to be between the Earth and sun in our overhead view, and close to one of its 2 nodes, so it lines up nicely with the plane of the Earth's orbit. Because the plane of the moon's orbit slowly wobbles, the location of the nodes shifts slowly throughout the year relative to the fixed background of stars. This slow nodal precession means that one of the 2 nodes line up between the Earth and the sun on average every 173.3 days, a little less than half a year. This creates on average 2 eclipse seasons per year, spaced a little less than 6 months apart. The eclipse prior to the April 8, 2024 eclipse was on October 14, 2023, a gap of 177 days. However, these 2 eclipses look very different. The April 2024 eclipse is a total eclipse, while the October 2023 eclipse is annular, where the moon does not entirely block out the sun. Clearly in both cases, the moon passes directly between the sun and Earth in 3D space. But
damn, I didn't know this video was going to be this dope, explaining it.
The apparent size of the moon has changed. This is due to the moon's roughly elliptical orbit taking the moon closer and further from the Earth. To make things nice and complicated, the moon's tilted orbital plane also slowly rotates, shifting the location of the moon's closest and furthest points around Earth, but not at the same rotation rate as the lunar nodes. All of this makes for 3 independent motions that must come together almost perfectly for similar eclipses to occur. First, we have the synodic month, taking the moon between the Earth and sun in our overhead view. Second, we have the nodes where the moon passes through the Earth's orbital plane. This cycle repeats every 27 days, 5 hours, 5 minutes, and 35.8 seconds on average, and is known as a draconic month. Finally, it takes an average of 27 days, 13 hours, 18 minutes, and 33.2 seconds for the moon to make a round trip.
I am not going to hold you, homie. Starting to lose me here.
From the closest point along its elliptical orbit and back. This is known as an anomalistic month. Taking all of this into account, how long will it take to see an eclipse similar to the April 8th, 2024 eclipse? If we move forward one synodic month to May 8th, the moon will again be in between the Earth and Sun in our overhead view, but 1.085 draconic months will have passed, meaning the moon has moved too far away from the Earth's orbital plane for an eclipse to occur. We can see that our node and the moon have drifted apart. Finally, 1.072 anomalistic months have passed, meaning the apparent size of the moon has changed as well. Moving forward another synodic month, our cycles drift further apart, with 2 synodic months corresponding to 2.1 synodic months, or about 18.
Boy,
Now, this doesn't mean
he synodic month and me out of there. This shit got too complicated in a hurry.
which will be mainly visible in parts of North Africa and the Middle East. Moving another 3 INX steps left,
Okay, well that video was too complicated for my eyes. But shout out to Welch Labs. How rare is the April 2024 eclipse? It was good, but this shit was...
But 1.085 draconic months will have passed. Moving forward another synodic month, our cycles drift further apart, with 2 synodic months corresponding to 2.17 draconic months and 2.143 anomalistic months. We do see some reasonably close alignment after 12 synodic months, with 12 synodic months equaling nearly 13 draconic months. And in fact, there will be an eclipse on March 29th, 2025. However, since our cycles don't quite align...
I understood the beginning where he was saying the moon's orbit is on a different wave and it's not a perfect circle around the Earth and it changes its rotation and all those things play into it. But then when he started giving those things names and getting all these calculations, he started going too fast for me. But that's interesting that they have it all down to a science like that. So that's very interesting. All right. Real quick, I wanted to show this just like a cool picture of the shadow of the, the kind of the shadows, or I don't know what you want to call them, of like the last eclipse that were on the ground. They looked real weird. They were like circle. It looked like no other shadow or anything I'd ever seen. It was almost like a sun shadow, if that makes sense. But it was dope. It looked like this picture, like a lot of round, like light rings on the ground almost. It was pretty dope. I've never seen anything like it. So that was a pretty cool thing about the last eclipse. I think the one that happened in October, like he was saying, about 177 days before this one. So that was dope. About 6 months ago, I guess, right? Yeah. So that was something I was looking up, but let's see. These are the last things I saw on Facebook that I sent to myself. They're all kind of models of like how the shadow is going to go, the eclipse, and just kind of showing us that. So we'll kind of just watch that. I don't think there's any audio really. It's crazy how much different it looks when it's like zoomed out further on this one. The path of totality is like that little bitty dot on this one, and like the whole, or like the, yeah, where it's like completely blacked out is that little bitty dot, and then like the outer shadow is that bigger one. It's kind of crazy. So this is what I wish that other guy would have broke this down more in that complicated video, but this is good because it shows the way the Earth is rotating, and then it shows the way the shadow of the moon is moving, and it makes me wonder, in my mind, the fastest motion going on here is not the moon moving, or the sun's not what's making this move. It's the Earth spinning that should be making the shadow go across the Earth in my mind, but yet that the Earth is spinning the opposite way of this shadow, so it's, or the same way. So it's not that the Earth spinning is like causing the shadow to drag across itself. The Earth is spinning the same way the shadow is going. So it's like, what's causing the shadow to go the direction that it is? I wish someone would like break that down, because honestly, it's no secret I'm a flat earther, and to me, this shadow going this way kind of shoots a hole in this whole thing for me. It's like why would the shadow be going that way? I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, these are some dope models. And then here's one more. Y'all we don't need that. Y'all get in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Are y'all excited, hyped about it? Are y'all gonna go outside and look at it? You're just gonna act like nothing's going on? I know a lot of people are probably gonna be at work and whatnot. But anyway, I just thought I'd go live the day before, kind of give my opinions, watch a few like news articles, and show a few like models and stuff, and just kind of give some commentary on it, see what everyone thought. Give y'all a chance to chime in, and just kind of do. I want to kind of get these live streams going with a little bit more regularity, where I'm not doing it like once a week or once every other week, and it's like an hour and a half. I kind of want to do like shorter, more frequent live streams, maybe when the topic is more relevant and prominent, people actually want to chime in and talk about it when it's happening, like that day type shit. So I just wanted to go live, kind of give my thoughts on the eclipse, kind of just question it, does it make sense on the globe model? Does it make sense on the flat earth model? A lot of the things about flat earth are we're trying to disprove the globe and then go from there. We don't have all the answers. So like, okay, it doesn't make sense on the, maybe not this, but like example A doesn't make sense on the globe. Well, how do you think it is? Well, I don't know. But if they don't have, if I'm able to put doubt in your mind about what their proof for example A, B, C, whatever it may be, that should be concerning enough for you to start questioning what you're being told as well. So, it's interesting. I think enough of these things that happen, if we question enough of them, and enough of these type things don't make sense on a globe, that could be enough to change someone's mind. And a lot of people are kind of stuck on this issue or don't really give a damn about it. But for people that are interested in the eclipse, maybe they are. So just my thoughts on it. I'm gonna see if anyone had any chats or anything, and I guess I'm gonna get out of here. I tried my volume a little higher this time, so I'm gonna see if that was good. If anyone that had noticed that the volume had been a little low, get in the chat and let me know if this episode, especially the second half, was better. And like I say, I always try to improve and get better and better every time. So we'll see if there's another hot topic or something coming up this week. I'm sure there'll be something in the news. Maybe I'll talk about like the rounding out of the NCAA tournament, or something else later on this week. But I'm definitely gonna try to go live probably I would say Wednesday or Thursday. So y'all look out for that. So LOG from Where There's Smoke signing out.